Hey, welcome back. We are here for episode 3 of You versus Your Cricut, who is winning. This episode is going to be focusing on removable vinyl and permanent adhesive vinyl, which is different from HTV, aka heat transfer vinyl. Uh, I was working on an order right here, and I said, no, I was working with permanent vinyl on this, and I had to go to the store to get something. Michael's, not the store, Michael's, our sanctuary, a crafter sanctuary. And I ran into a lady, can't remember her name, but the name of her business is Tranquility, Shop Tranquility Tea. Right here, you see it right here. And she was just jumping into it, and I ended up giving her all the, the knowledge and the tools right then and there. And then it reminded me, you know what? Go talk to your family on YouTube, because they probably need this information too. So here we are. You know me, I'm not gonna do a whole bunch of jibber jabber. We just gonna jump right on into it. As I said, I was working on this order right here for a graduation jar. So I thought, what perfect way. I had already designed it, but we're gonna duplicate this. So that's what you see me moving it to the side. Now, we're gonna go in and we're going to get our text box. Now, we're going to type in our whatever text. Remember, we talked about how to get text, where to go get the text from. I even have a video where I show you how to go get different fonts to add into here. You have your Cricut, and then you have your system. I typically work with my system fonts because they're free. Unless you're paying for the Cricut version, then of course, you can use the Cricut version. So right here, the first text that right here, it was Rockwell. That's what I'm using for this. And this is just a quick run through. I'm not going to get it exact the way that I did, because I took a little bit more time and worked on that one, of course, to get it the way that I want it. But this is just going to show you. And what I'm showing you right here is how the words, you see how the letters are, the R and D are kind of together, but the other ones are. So you're going to go up in here and you're going to hit the letter space, where you can either space your letters out more or not. Or you can go there where it says ungroup, and then you can individually move the letter that you need to. So you can move it with your mouse pad or your trackpad or whatever, or you can use your arrow keys on your keypad to move it over. I tend to use the arrow keys because it keeps it even. But if you just happen to move it with your mouse pad, right, and it kind of gets off center, say you do it and see how the S, I'm putting it down a little bit. Here's what you can do with that. Group all that together, go up, click the align button, and then go down and click align bottom. And then it brought all the words together. So that's another little tip that you can do in there. But you put them in there, and then I group these, and I'm going to scoop these over a little bit more. And then as I group, then I get that close together. Then I'm going to group the O in there. I mean, there's different variations of ways you can do this. This is just the way that I work it through. Remember, we always about what over here? If you ain't saying PP by now, you haven't watched enough of these videos, because we all know PP is my go-to personal preference. So I'm just playing around in here with a little bit, because I didn't remember when I originally did the first one, if I did Rockwell condensed for the W, or if I left it at Rockwell and just played around with it, because you can see the W is a little bit bigger than it, and I separated it. So that's what you see me dilly-dallying around, just doing whatever I want to do. And then, as always, I like to use Unite. So what I did is I went in there and I circled around. I grouped all the words and I hit Unite. That way it brought it back together. Now, I like to use Unite because we can go back and edit it if we need to. Once we hit that weld button, that's it. It's stuck forever, unless you're just gonna Control Z or back, or undo everything that you did since then to go back to unwelding it. So I love the Unite feature. So we're doing the same thing, just going in here with that. I'm going word by word. As you get a little bit more comfortable and you understand how to maneuver this and get your wording together and set it how you want to, you'll figure out faster ways, which I would have went on ahead and just typed out all my text box of all the words that I wanted to say, or that I was going to put for my saying, and then I would go in and just change my text fonts after I've typed out everything. But I understand this is introductory, and you may know this, You may not know this information. Hopefully it is helping someone. If I help one person, did my job. Not my job, but I did what I came to do. And that's for us to be great together. So you see me in there, I'm going in there and I'm making sure, because for whatever reason, Cricut just want to be in your business and want to kind of control you a little bit. And then they want to just make all your fonts standard, that ugly little ashy gray. I don't got time for that, Cricut. Don't do that for me. Don't just, and every time you change your font, it's actually going to change. If you go in there and you change the font, or you duplicate the text box or whatever you're gonna do, it's always going to give you this little dusty gray, and I don't like it. But that's just one of those extra steps that you have to do. So as I said, I'm going in word by word just to give you guys an idea, and I'm positioning it how I would want it and everything like that. I'm gonna keep going in and let me go back. That's my rewind noise. Whenever you are working with some type of fancy writing, or especially a cursive writing, it is imperative that you put the letters together, because you do want them to connect. You absolutely want them to, because the last thing you want to do is cut it out and then all your letters are coming out one by one while you're trying to adhere them. That is the most tedious and headacheful process to go through. So it's very important that you do, when you're working with like a fancy something like this, your what's that line, letter space is gonna be your best friend, or the ungroup, and then individually that's gonna be your best friend. So if you see right here, I did that. I ungrouped the letters, and then I'm kind of moving them over. These were already kind of together, so that was good. So then I grabbed these. I grabbed this, and you see I wanted that G, and I brought it over. And then I'm gonna grab it, and then I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and that is go down there and unite them things. Reunited, and it feels so good. Okay, moving on. We're gonna get sidetracked. So that's pretty much what you do as far as your lettering, or text, I should say, when you're trying to do something. What am I trying to say? I get so sidetracked so easy. So do y'all do that? Do y'all just space out and then start thinking about something else, and then your mind jump over to Sally Sue and Bob? Okay. Anyway, back to what we was talking about over here. I'm just getting some fonts together, and I don't think I need to repeat what I'm doing over and over again, because I know y'all know what I'm doing. I know y'all see that, because you know what? You is kind, you is smart, and you is important. So I already know I don't have to go step by step. But I know visuals. That's what we need. We need visuals. You know, one thing that I am getting is more comfortable with doing these videos, doing these voiceovers. I talk fast, so sometimes I fumble over my words, and now sometimes I be re-recording. But the lady that I met at Michael's with her beautiful soul and her beautiful self, we were talking about these things, and she said, embrace the mistakes, embrace the flubs, and I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna start embracing it. I'm gonna just get comfortable, and y'all gonna be like, girl, slow down, stop fumbling over your words. And I'm just gonna keep on fumbling. But anyhow, so as you can see, I'm lining everything up, getting it in position of where I wanted, how I want it to be, and where I want it to go. Now, this is something that I will do. So because I know that this is how I want it on my jar, what I'm gonna do, I'm doing a magic act. Whoop, made it disappear. I took that out the way so I can grab words of and for the, and then I'm going to attach them together. And the reason why I'm doing that is because when I go to make it, it'll cut it out instead of cutting out individually or scrambling all over the place. So now I'm going in and I'm grabbing wisdom for the graduate, and I'm going to attach that as well. And it's going to keep it in those space. So it'll leave a space for the word for the, and then words of for the will be together. I just grouped it together, and I took it off because I'm gonna use this one and go ahead and print out, because that's the one that I'm actually going to be using. And as you can see, what I was talking about on the mat is how the words of, and then there's a space, and then That makes it a lot easier. So then when it's on this mat right here, when we did HTV, we mirrored it. On here, we're not mirroring it at all. You keep it just the way it is, looking at you, y'all locking eyes, making contact, looking like that Diddy meme with that boy. He looking at you. He was looking at Diddy, Diddy looking at him, and it's going back and forth. That's what you're doing with this. Y'all locking. Y'all locked in. Okay. And then you would go in and you would, of course, put in your mat size, if it's a 12 by 12, or your project number. If you were doing multiple of these and you say, I'm doing 5 of these, then of course you would go in and put how many you're doing in there. And then you would keep your page or your mat or your material size, I'm sorry, according to what you're doing. So, 8.5 by 11, if that's what you're gonna do. But I was doing a small one, so I'm gonna put it on 4 by 6 because see how small it is, and I'm only doing one. I'm just gonna probably get a little corner piece of something. So that's what I'm gonna do. And then once I get my size in there, then I'm gonna just go ahead and continue to go. I'm just really fatting around. Then I will go over and then just go ahead and click on, what's that, continue or whatever. I think I'm talking about something else. I don't know what I was thinking. Probably on the phone running my mouth, to be truthful. Okay, so then of course it's gonna show you, well, if mine's ever show up, it's been acting crazy, your materials. I think we talked about this already, putting bookmarks on your favorite material that you most likely use. If not, you go to browse material and find the material that you're looking for. But I bookmark materials that I normally use. So this is the permanent glossy. Then I'm gonna go ahead and set it. I have to remember my settings, because on the Maker 3, you have to, it does not automatically, for the next sheet, it will not automatically, it will start flashing like, girl, what you want to do? And then you got to go in there and be like, girl, I knew what I was doing. So anyhow, we go in there and then we do that. So this is me right here. I'm showing you how you put on the mat. Remember, that's the back. The back is facing down, shiny side up, or color facing up. That's my brayer. That's my baby right there. Oh, I love it. It just helps the materials. They just melt together when you use that on the mats. And then you're just going to go ahead and put it in the machine and let it do it do. As you can see, we made a little adjustment. I realized I did not have green paper. I had green. I didn't have that color green. I had lime green, and I didn't like that for that. I didn't want lime green because that's not the graduation colors, but white will work. So we swapped out the green for the white. Still gonna be cute regardless. So we got it. We have all of our stuff out. You're gonna get your materials together. Oh, that's the jar. Isn't that cute? Look at that with the little hat. Little grad cap with a tassel. I got those from Amazon. I got those that mason jar for Dollar Tree. We got that, and I cut the tops out with cardstock paper. You know me, I love me a handy dandy tweezer. Let me a tweezer. That's my weeding pen. I like the weeding pen to get in between the words, like when it's the little spots and the O's and the A's and the D and stuff like that. It helps me to get it out faster. And then of course, your regular tweezers, your regular pick thing that you weeding tool that you have used. So you're gonna see I'm gonna go in here and I'm picking out all of the all the stuff in between. I normally have like a little jar that I stick them on there, but I'm gonna stick them on my hand right now. To me, my PP, and it could be your PP too. That don't sound right. Hold on. Let's rewind that back. Erase. Men in Black pen. Okay, my personal preference, and it could also be your personal preference too, is to go through and take out all those little nuances in the words, like the parts in between the D and the A and those things. I like to take those out because me personally, I feel like it helps to weed it better when I'm pulling off the whole overall project, because sometimes when it has those parts still in there, it'll either get caught on there or to start pulling up the leg. It can be a whole lot of haywiring going on that really, really stress you out and have you frustrated. Okay. So I like to say with my weeding pen, and I don't know why I'm doing this on my silicone mat instead of directly on my healing mat. That is insane. Okay. See how I get sidetracked? But after I went through, and then I go through and I find a line and I start, and then see how I'm just peeling it off from around the words. And it's just coming through. So that's why I like to go through and pick it, and then I just get whatever little excess that's left over. But then I noticed right here, oh no, the dot in my eye for wisdom disappeared. And then so now I'm gonna go through and find that dot, because it needs the dot, right? It don't look right. You know it's an eye, but it's like seasoning salt. The dot on the eye is like seasoning salt. So I'm going in and I'm looking to find it, and I discover it, but it wasn't fun to get off. Let's put it that way. I did discover where it was at, and I could see it stuck on there. It's almost like, trying to pull a magnet or super strong magnet apart from each other. That's what it kind of gets. When that sticky gets stuck on that sticky, it be sticking. The sticky be sticking. Okay. So that's what you see me right here doing. I'm gonna confungal and figure it out. But I got it. See, I'm like a surgeon right here. This is what happens when you watch a lot of Grey's Anatomy. You can get in there. And you say, give me the flap sheets, give me the float sheets, whatever they call it. I don't know. But I found it, and now I'm putting it on there. You'll see it. It's a little indentation on the paper that let me know exactly. You guys know this. Know why I'm trying to baby walk step y'all through that. So we got it. Yay! We saved the day. So we got it. Now we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna just weed it out. So simple. Now, what I will tell you this. The smaller the font, the finer the font, it is a lot more difficult to weed to get it to stay. So just be mindful of what you're going to put your permanent or removable vinyl on, and the sizing in your fonts, because those do play a big part. Of course, the bigger you're gonna do it, the better. It's the easier. Now right here, this is my transfer tape. I know Cricut has a brand, but let me tell you something for free. This one is so much better. I'm going to link it in. It's going to be linked in the description. I got this from Amazon. I've had that roll for probably 2 to 3 years. And you see how much I got left. Okay. And it works. And it probably costs as much as one little small roll of the Cricut transfer tape costs. Or maybe even cheaper. I don't know. But this thing has lasted me. So I just cut it out around the size that I need. Not too much over. And then we just going to peel it off. And then you're just going to place it right on top. Just like that. Then you're going to get your little, your scraper. That's me noticing that for whatever reason, the for the is crooked. So I decided to separate it instead of putting it all together as one, because why? Because it's going to mess up. But anyhow, that's my little scraper. You might have a Cricut one. They all work the same. It's, they do the job. So you're gonna scrape it on the front. Put a little elbow into it. Don't be all gentle with it. Put some elbow into that. You want it to stick on there. And then I flip it over and I go to the back. And then, just take it off. And now everything is on your transfer tape. As I said, I noticed that the for the was kind of wonky, and I didn't like that. I didn't trust it, I should say, to be put on there all at once. So I separated it, and I said I would go in later and adhere that as needed. It wasn't going to make a big whoop to do. And there's my jar. And I need to decide what I want to be the front and what the back. And then I started looking at it. I was like, oh, this jar a little muggy looking from all the touching I did when I was creating a hat and thing. So I left y'all for a quick second. I came back and made the jar clean. I need to have a little sound effect sting, because now it's clean. Okay. So now we get down to the get down. Okay, so now I decided what my front is gonna be. This is my front, and that's what it's gonna be. And we're gonna decide, okay, position it to exactly where we want it. Boom, right here is perfect. I tend to fold mine like this and let the middle settle first, and then then do the right side down and then the left side down. To me, it helps it to adhere better without bubbles and lumps and folding over and things like that, to let the middle settle and then do one side. Because if you try to put it all together down, you end up with lines or bubbles or some parts not adhering the way you want to, or crookedness. Just you end up with a mess, a whole mess. So my advisement to you, this ain't PP right here. This is my advisement, is to lay your middle down first. And as I'm pulling back the tape, I see the S kind of wanted to come up a little bit, and then the R wanted to try to follow suit, because you know R and S are best friends. They've been together forever, so you know how they are. They one do one, the other one want to do it too. So we just doing that. I'm just going through and I'm just rubbing in just to make sure that it's getting in there good. And we got that on there. All right. Now we're going to do, I can still put the wisdom in the graduate just how I want it, just making sure it lines up. And I'm going to still go back through and put the four, and it is all still fit. It's just I'm going to have to do that a little bit, whatever, because I think I put the paper on there on the mat kind of crooked. So that's a very important lesson. Make sure that it's lined up, because then you end up looking like a fool like me. I don't look like a fool because I can fix it, but I'm trying to show y'all something and over here making rookie mistakes, as they call them. I feel like I'm talking too much and I don't want to do that, but I like talking to y'all. I hope y'all like hearing me talk, because it's kind of fun to me. So same thing we went back and I got a new piece of transfer tape. Now, can you use one piece of transfer tape repeated? Yes. I would say with this one, personally, I would only use it 3-4 times max if I'm doing like a project with multiple in the size, and it's the same size, because it does start to lose the way that it removes the vinyl off of the paper and you start having extra issues. So you might as well just get a new sheet. But between 3 to 4 times, no more than 4, or you can use it, but you're gonna have some problems. So you can repeat, if that was a question. I don't know if that was a question, but yeah, that might be why I've been able to hold on to that roll since the beginning of time, because I do use pieces multiple times, especially when I have bigger projects of repetitiveness, and repeats. That's better. There we go. Trying to get fancy. So as you can see, we just, putting that on there. And when the letters come up, we just go in there a little bit and just smooth it down. I just still like to smooth it down even when I put the letter, to pull the tape off as well too. Even if it's not a letter coming up, I still like to just get in there, because you just want to, make sure that it's in there, especially when you either giving something as a gift, or if you're selling a product, you want to make sure your product is all the way together. You don't want nobody out there talking bad about your child. I was going to reuse that for the and then I remember, oh no, it was already on there. So I'm going to let you guys see how I correct this. And I just want you to see how simple it was to correct as well. It might have added a few extra steps, but it was very simple to correct. So I cut, because the was kind of was sloping down. So that's why I cut the off. And then I would just go in there and find my position and put 4 in there. And to be honest, because that was smaller than the other letters, this one was real easy to just add here. Boom. And then we're going to put the in there. We're going to be complete. We'll have it together. And you're going to go make you, let me see. The first thing I did when I worked with permanent vinyl was a mug. I made a mug and I did with Baby Yoda. So I'm going to add that to my folder, my share drive folder. So you can have something to work with for permanent vinyl to play around with. Or if you want to go ahead and just dive right on in and make up your own saying your words, do that. But that is how. I hope this was helpful. Like, comment, subscribe. Love on each other. Be great together. And we'll be back for episode 4 soon.